Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Retro Carded Viper, and this is the one that everyone has been waiting for. We're going to look at everything. He is a new design compared to the old one. This was a question that I did want asked a while back, that are they willing to go ahead and, now that the budget is higher, redo the molds of some of these figures that maybe weren't the best molds. I actually really think the Viper looked awesome, but he had some issues. So this is a completely new mold for the Viper from ground up. Doesn't mean there's no retooling, but there's no retooling other than I think the head and the goggles for the Viper, and there was no reason to. Also in this video, what we're going to be taking a look at is comparing them to the first Viper that came out in Classified, the O-ring, because that's what we want to know. And then on the back, you can see there's a weapons rack. And what I actually have there is a bunch of retro style 3D printed weapons from Top Fun Retro Toys. I will leave a link to him in the description along with his Instagram so you can contact him, because I've already reached out to him and I said, hey, you know what? I think some people are going to want these in white. Are you willing to do it? And he said, I'd be willing to do a batch if there's enough people. If you just like the black that you're going to see, you can order those. I think they look really good. His weapons are real nice. Also, if you use my code PUNKWITHTOYS, drop the A, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So anyway, we're going to show off that. We're going to get into that. So this video may be a little long. I know, shocker with my videos being a little long. But let's get to this guy right here. Here we can see the whole card art. Again, nice thick card, no more flimsiness. We have whether it's a digital version or an AI version, or it's actually drawn. It's the classic style, but with the new weapon, with the digital explosion in the back. We got the card, or I'm sorry, the bubble here. Again, I don't think I need to see all of everything, like every weapon. Just give me a few, you can hide the rest behind it. You get the G.I. Joe logo along with Cobra Enemy, but no a real American hero. On the back, we're going to get the big giant file card in 5L. There's no way to get around that. And then we're going to get the three character wave cross cell. Now, I've been saying this since the moment these things started coming out. Move the file card down here, move this up here, and give us a cross cell of, you don't have to do all of the retro, but do a whole bunch of the retro, even if they came in the HasLab. It doesn't matter. It's selling it, and maybe even put a few blacked out how they used to, so you know that there was figures coming. I think that would be really cool, and that would actually give me the nostalgia of what we had in the 80s. But let's get into this, look at them, compare them. Again, please, thank you very much. But you stayed here this long, let's get into this. But before we do, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe Classified review. All right, so here we go, and we got him out of his plastic prison. Here's one I just stood up. I haven't even posed him, haven't moved him, just put the weapon on him, put everything on him, and stood him right there. As you can see, this is the one. He's actually holding these Top Fun Retro rifles. This is the one we'll be comparing him to, because he is a fully kitted out one, other than the goggles that I forgot to just throw there right on him, right there. And then we'll be taking a look at this guy, comparing them, to see how they look. So anyway, we'll start with the accessories, and we'll start with this thing right here. It's a stand. It's got the Cobra logo, 2-foot pegs in a spot for the name. If you're going to leave that on there, just give it a name. Maybe people will use it. You guys know my feelings on stands. They are useless. All right. As you can see, all these guys are standing. How even the O-rings are standing. As for the hands we'll look at, we get these 2 fist hands. Now, we've already seen these numerous times. These are actually from Cobra Commander. Now, they do change the pegs a little bit, but they do look good. You see some nice little detail in the gloves right there. All right, you get your knuckles. We got your pointing, so maybe he sees Joe coming. He's trying to point out to the other Vipers, to maybe the Crimson Guards, the Eels, Cobra Commander, Destro, whoever. Oh my God, look. We have a Dragonfly coming in. Again, it does look good. And then we have the World Domination hand. Now, I've been saying this for quite some time. If you're wondering why I say the World Domination, is because with Cobra Commander, he actually holds a globe in his hand. Now, they say that this is used to cup the rifle. All right, this is kind of a similar thing that Valaverse did. They have that like C cupping hand. I think this is absolutely useless. It is great for Cobra Commander. You know, someone like Cobra Commander, Dr. Mindbender, someone that's holding the world that they're trying to dominate. For me, just pry the hand open, the trigger finger, and let it collapse around it. And it actually has a better look that you're actually gripping it. So, all right. Well, we'll look at the backpack. So I believe this is Rakondo's backpack. We got the bedroll up here. We got the straps here. I do like the detail that you're seeing. All right. So you got the detail right up there that is your belt buckle. You can see where you're going to tighten it. And look, they're not even. So that's kind of how like real life would be. And it looks like you're just kind of rolling it over right there. Even on the inside, you got some straps going down. Bedroll looks good. You got your canteen right there. Again, a couple more straps, pouches, straps. They do a wonderful job with their detail, okay? And this flips over. Now, this is Rakondo's, if I'm correct. This is not what the Viper came with. And again, I'll reiterate, you're doing a retro. Let's make things as retro as possible. They don't have to be exactly spot on, but you're going to see what I'm saying in a bit. All right. As for the pistol here, I really like this pistol. It looks really good. On the grip here, you got a nice little brown. It looks like it has maybe a small extended magazine, or maybe it's just hanging out. You got your trigger guard. You got your ventilation or just design on it that you're obviously not gripping. There's your safety. There's your sight for it. You got a port for blast effects. All right, and on this side, you got the same thing. And again, that is a really nice looking pistol. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of their pistols look really nice. But more than anything, they got rid of the pistols that came with the original Viper, which I know most people are pretty happy with. Here's his goggles. These are the same goggles that we had, as it uses the same head sculpt. The question is it going to stay on better? Because those ones here, well, I'll show you when we get to it, they're actually broken. Now, there is a little bit of paint in the actual lenses, but you can see the nice strap, and this looks really good. Now, why does a Viper with a face shield need this? Well, because the original had it. That's the only reason. All right, here we have the rifle that we've seen numerous times. It has a suppressor that comes off, and it can be universal. These weapons came with the Viper 3-pack. They've come with numerous figures, a lot of the 50th anniversary figures or 60th, whatever one it was. They tend to come in packs because normally these are printed 3 together. So there are 3 different versions of these. They only give us 2 here. Now, I believe the reason why they did this one was they molded it in gray to look like the white one that we have over there, all right? Looking at this here, you got a nice scope on it. You got the grip right here. Again, the suppressor, which does look good. So you clearly have a port for blast effects, along with a port here for the suppressor, but I think suppressors are supposed to suppress the blast effects, so it kind of defeats the purpose. You got your nice stock here. Does look good. Removable magazines. Now, the one thing I do like about this, because they've used this weapon so many times, you have a bunch of magazines that are universal. They're universal in this weapon, and they're universal with the other weapons that it does come with, which I think looks, it works out. All right. There's your safety, trigger guard, your grip right there. All right. All in all, a nice looking weapon. I actually like these weapons. I just think that should be more something for Joe rather than Cobra. Here is the secondary weapon. And he has some sort of grenade launcher, I do believe, right down here. You get port for blast effects for both of them. Now, you don't have a suppressor on this, so you'd expect to have that. You got the brown paint, so it is meant to match with this gun. Magazine does come out. So if you wanted to swap them, as I had mentioned here, these are universal. All right. But it depends. Do you have an issue with the gray magazine? If you're in a firefight, I don't think you really care what color the magazine is, although there may be some people that do. Again, design is very similar. You get trigger, or you get your safety. There is your trigger and trigger guard for the grenade launcher. You got your grip down here. Trigger guard right there along with the trigger and the grip. Same style. Same style right there. And if you want to throw a string through there, you can have it with a sling on it. All right. Got your small little scope, your sight. You can tell it's on a rail system. Again, a nice looking weapon. I just don't think that I personally like to see futuristic weapons go to Cobra, and for the most part, modern military weapons going to the Joes. Just makes sense to the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Marines, U.S. Air Force, even somewhere in the Coast Guard. But you guys get what I'm saying. They are part of the United States military for the most part. I know someone's going to say, wow, no, that one's SAS. I don't really care. All right. As to this figure, I know this is what you guys want to see. We're going to see how well he articulates. We're going to compare them to these two. All right. So the head sculpt is the same. You got the silver full visor. I like the way this wraps around. You can see some detail right there on the head. And all this detail just kind of wrapping around there. And on the back, you got a little detail here. Up on top, you got the red that kind of just wraps around there, just to soften everything. I guess it's padding, but I don't really think you need padding on the outside. But hey, maybe it's supposed to wrap all the way underneath. We have two pineapple grenades. All right, you can see the pins right there. It would be really cool if they hit that with just a little bit of paint. I'm not complaining about it, just mentioning. Cobra logo here. Again, a little bit more padding here. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that. That little bit of paint right there, which is going to hold that zipper up. And look at the detail on the zipper. That looks awesome. Pouches right down here. And get down to the Cobra logo. And then you're going to have a nice belt, which looks like it's supposed to run through loops. Here you have a pouch. You have your torch or your light. I think they call them torches. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to ask you to correct me. I know you guys will. A little bit of paint right there. Again, this shows you where the budget is, that they're able to hit this with paint. Every time paint hits something, it costs a little more. All right, and now this is where you have on his belt I like this design. This is where we're going to put the pistol. And then even when you look at the back here, this has some nice detail to it. I think it looks really good. So you don't have to have him run around with the backpack. All right, as for the arms, we got a pouch up on top here. It's folded up. Now he has bare arms. What you don't know is these guys have bare arms too, because those gauntlets were meant to come off. And to the first idiot that says you're not supposed to take them off, well, they actually show you with them off on the 3-pack. All right. Sorry, I had to deal with that comment numerous times. All right, so here's your padding. All right, it's going to go all the way past his hands. I can already tell you this is going to cause a little bit of issues with how you're going to articulate it. But we'll find out. I'm pretty sure this can come off. So maybe you just don't like having the gauntlet. Maybe you just want to have an army of Vipers, but you like to change them up. This is perfect for you. All right, and here's the same thing on this side. Pouch right up here. You got the cuffs. You can see the arms. Again, and they're all one color. So as for right now, these are all going to be white Vipers. I'm sure we're going to get the crimson one, and we're going to get the... I really want a retro officer. I love that officer. I think that's an awesome scheme. Anyway, on the side here, we got some pouches, and then we can see this is a completely newly tooled leg. No way to get around that, because the Viper has this padding that we'll see on the Vipers over there. Big, huge pouch. You can see the little, where the little button would be. It's on the inside. We got the knee pads in the same way that he does have there. And then he has the big boots. And then what I consider to be the lace savers. Again, going back to being a a skateboarder. All right, so everything looks real good, and even on the back, we got some back pockets for him. All right, as for his articulation, he's going to look down and he's going to look up. His head can kind of move back and forth because the neck is on its own peg along with the head. He can tilt his head side to side a little and obviously go back and forth. He actually feels, he's kind of loose, but not to the point where his head's going to wobble around. As for the arms, this is right out of the box. Perfect T-pose. He can swivel at the shoulder and at the bicep. Double pinless elbows. All right, right there, bicep, shoulder, pinless. All right, and then we're going to have a swivel wrist. He does have an ab crunch, I believe, but you're not going to be able to use it all that much. This is going to get in the way. There's no way around it. My hope was that they would have molded this into it, but this means that this torso they're going to reuse. So he can bend over that far. He can bend that far. His waist, it does swivel, so he can turn side to side. There's his Jean-Claude Van Damme with his drop-down hips. That's what a drop-down hip is. Not a huge fan of them. Marvel Legends doesn't use them, and they seem to do pretty decent for the most part. It's just one more thing that can break, but it also does give you a little bit more articulation. He can kick his legs out pretty much straight like that, and that really does have to do with the drop-down hips. There's his thigh swivel. Double pinless knees, and your boot cut right there, along with your ankle rocker. All right, so this is articulation. I know as people say, why are you doing this? Everyone knows the articulation. Well, guess what? There's always someone new coming into the line, coming new into toys that don't know anything about this. All right, so pop this up and we can take a look at him right there. Now, as for arming him up, here's his goggles. And my hope is that the goggles will stay on a little bit better. All right. I don't think so. You might want to use a little bit of sticky tack just on the back because these things tend to fall off. It's staying on right now, but they end up breaking. Maybe they used a little bit softer plastic. Hell, if they used the plastic they were using on some of the guns for a while, you might have been perfectly fine. As for the pistol, this thing is going to slide in right here like so, and I really do like that design. As a matter of fact, I like this design because I'm hoping that some of the pistols that I have that have a flashlight from 3D printers will fit right through there. That would make me extremely happy. All right, so first let's compare them to the Retro Viper. All right, I'm sorry, the O-ring Viper. All right, so first off, the backpacks are similar enough. You can get away with it, but you're going to be making a lot of Vipers. This is the reason why there's no reason not to have molded a new backpack to be similar to this along with that rifle, because you're going to be making tons of these. Red Vipers, Python Patrol Vipers, Officer Vipers, I mean, different color. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't have. As you can see, there is nothing that's really similar other than there's a canteen in it. This one doesn't have a bedroll. This one does, but you can kind of get away with it. Nothing really to compare there. As for the gun, there you go. You can take a look at this. This is what they were trying to give you. I guess it's close enough. They should have used that gun if that's what they were going to do. All right. As for the two figures, how close of a design is this to Retro? Well, you can look at the side of the helmets. Very similar, the way that wraps around, and then they gave you the goggles. Now, again, they put a little bit on the lenses because that makes sense. As for the plate carrier, you do have the red up top here. You got the Cobra symbol. You have two grenades right there. Someone's going to say, those aren't pineapple grenades. I don't care. And then you have the red over here. On the side, no pouches, but it does have the rolled up sleeves. And then you have the same style of gauntlets. These gloves here went all the way down past the wrist to protect them. On the front, you have the painted latches right there. They did paint the vest right there, which I don't have a problem with. You have 2 pouches underneath it, the same as there. Cobra logo right there on the belt buckle. And then you can see exactly a couple pouches right there, along with the belt buckles, which they tried to recreate. Then onto the back, they decided to put a light on it, and this is where they put the holster. Even here you can see where they put the belt buckle. Now I'm sure there will be people that will go ahead and cut this off because they want something that is absolutely perfect. Looking at the side here, you have your red stripe, you got your big pouch right there, and then this goes into the boot. It is also on the inside. You got your knee pads. Now on these ones here, they made the knee pads just part of the boot, but it has a strap that goes around it just like that. And even going down to the boot, it kind of has this lace saver, so you don't see any laces. That's the comparison between those. As for this guy here, and again, this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful figure. Well, design-wise. Design-wise it is. A matter of fact, is this... Actually, I got the wrong one, don't I? Yeah, this one is actually from... You think you know... No, it's not. This is the right one. They're darker than you remember. This is the one from the 3-pack. Everything is much, much darker. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to compare them. You can decide whether or not you want to pick them up. All right. So the backpack here, we'll quickly compare it. It is completely different. I went over that. But the gun is the big thing. So this was the gun that came with the original Viper. This was the O-ring gun, and I could see the design cues in it. It was more of a laser rifle. No one really knew what this was, even though this does have a removable magazine. Look at that. I think this was like the first removable magazine. Alright, and it also has a port for blast effect. So there's no reason not to just reuse this. But if you would have given me this in gray, I would have been acceptable. I think that would have been closer. Now, before anyone says, I can't believe you're tearing this apart, I'm reviewing. I'm showing you everything that I can. Alright, so comparing these two here, they give him the neckerchief. We're going to remove the neckerchief here. But they did give this to cover up the color of his skin. You can move it over if you want. Alright, so it looks like we have the exact same... Hold on. Where'd my goggles go? Look at the goggles quickly. So all they did was they painted it. These, I have so many that have broken out. And that's my fear. This one is going to break out the back too. So these are the exact same. So just be careful if you're like me and you want to have at least one that is complete, that you don't customize, because you're going to get those goggles mixed up. All right, so the two Vipers. Now I did a review on this. Obviously, I thought this was a great interpretation of this guy. So you have the exact same helmet, although it has some red cues right up here. We have the two grenades, except for these are flashbangs or smoke bombs. I don't want anyone to get mad at me. Your Cobra symbol up here, and then you have your red, where these are red straps. Big pouch and two pouches right down there. This is more like a flak jacket that's going to flip over. You still have the Cobra symbol right there. You got the pouches that are more in the front. And then on the side, they gave him the worst handgun that has ever been produced. I don't know if that's true, but I hate this gun. Thank God they changed that. You still have the protection right on the side here, but it doesn't go down. And clearly you can see where they are pinless now. On this side, they gave him multiple pouches around this leg, where you only got the one. Still have the knee pads, but these knee pads, these boots, if you guys really want, well, I guess it has the texture, so you might not want to change them out. But I wouldn't be surprised if people try and change out that. But on the inside, you also got the stripe going down like that. Boots are completely different, all right, but they still do the same thing. They kind of have this lace saver right there, but they were using these shin guards that they really liked. So, and on the back, it's kind of the similar, all right. They just kind of detailed a little bit there. As for the heads, I'm going to try and pop this off. And there came out the neck. Now this is the same issue that I continue to have. This is the same issue that I continue to have with the Crimson Guard. So, necks are completely different. And before you wonder, that is a different size peg or head peg right there than this. Now, you could pop this off. You take a little bit of work, and you can throw this on here. Hell, you could just do this here. All right. And then what you would have to do is use some sticky tack if you like the red around there. You want to customize them. This here, what you're going to have to do is heat this up really well and then pop that out. Then you'd have to either Dremel out the inside there or remove this somehow. They use completely different neck systems. I don't know why. Nobody asked for them to change that. A matter of fact, I do think the newer system, it may have some benefits, but I think that it's problematic for the most part. And now I got to get this thing back in here. But I have the exact same issue with the Crimson Guards. Their heads don't like to come off without the neck peg. And now you got to get that neck peg back into the actual neck, which again, this neck moves back and forth. So while you are sitting here waiting, please take a second, hit that like button if you like this, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, because you're going to get a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. If that's what you're interested in, you can see that sub count, and you can see exactly where I am in this community. All right, that thing is now back on. Now, we're going to get all these Vipers out of the way, and we're going to talk about weapons. Now, you guys already know my feelings. I think this weapon would have been perfectly fine, but there are people that will make 3D printed weapons for you. Top Fun Toys is one of them, and again, if you use my code PUNKWithToys, drop the A, you can get 10% off. So, this guy right here, you can see he has the actual weapon. It is not in gray. Message him, John, on Instagram, and say, hey, do you have this in gray or white? Can you do it? And we'll see if he can do it for you guys. So what I do have here, and we're going to grab all of them in this wonderful weapons rack. But this is the first one. Why don't I just bring this closer to me? I'll try not to knock everyone down. So, I knocked that one down. So here is the black one. Here is your original Viper weapon. And as you can look at it, it has the light underneath it. It has the big grip right here. He designed it so the magazine looks the same. Grip is here. This is designed to look the exact same. Again, John from Top Fun Toys. He is a Marine. I'm not sure if he is retired yet. He's in the process of retiring if he isn't. And this is what he's looking to do. So you have this weapon. I'm going to throw this in his hand. So you guys want to know what it looks like to have... Like, I haven't even armed this guy up, and the first thing that I'm doing is throwing on a classic-looking 3D printed weapon. Now, again, it's not gray. So, how well does it pose? Well, right there. Look at that. This looks absolutely awesome. But let's say you're like, you know what? It's still a little too futuristic for me. Well, he made this one. All right. Now they do have blast effects. Here is, I believe this is a light. There you have your scope. You got your magazine. You got your grip right there, and then you got your different style. Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about. And once it comes to me, I will say it. Stock. So there you go. That can pose awesome. All right, I think that one looks really good too. This one is my favorite. And that is because it has a drum magazine. All right, so look at that. Big drum magazine, exact same style. Again, we'll show you here. And these are all on his page. And again, they will be linked directly to this. All right, so you can look at that. You can see how he changed it. Again, these stocks are done really well to the point where they're not too long. One thing is, when you try and design weapons that are exactly to spec, you have to remember that action figures are not to spec. All right? They don't have give. There's nothing soft. Everything is hard plastic. So there you go. That is your drum magazine. All right? Looks pretty good. These weapons are awesome. Now I have two of these. Now, unfortunately, these are long-range snipers. So here is this sniper here. Long barrel. You got the big scope here. Different style magazine for a bigger bullet. You got your stock, grip, everything looks real good. And then you have the same one. Now, unfortunately for me, the bipod broke on this. So this actually has a bipod, so you can set it on the ground and pose it. But as you can see, these are the same weapons. Other than the grip, he puts the bipod on it. So these are for Top Fun Toys if you are interested in having actual weapons, right? You're there, you're like, I need my Vipers to be as classic as possible. Here you can get black ones, or you can contact him and say, can you do these in white and gray for me? Again, my code, PunkWithToys, drop the A, you get 10% off. All right, as for arming this guy, back to our original review. Throw the backpack on him. We already got the pistol on him. We'll go with this. Well, you know what? We'll go with this one here because I already got that one over there. Now, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. But I hate these types of grips. All right. So here we go. How well can we pose them? He's not that hard to pose, I don't believe. He doesn't seem to have the super loose legs like the other Vipers did. I hate these grips. They might be great in real life, but in an action figure, they suck. All right. And all three of these weapons that were molded at the same time, they have this type of grip. All right. So you're able to pose them just like that. As for this, do what you can with it. So there, this one is like that. Get him on one knee here. You can fire this way. God, I really hate this weapon. I just hate the grips. They're always in the way. So there you go. Again, I would adjust the hand. But I'm trying to show you how you can get them here. This guy here, let's pop out some hands. Now, I will say this piece here, which does come off, so if you don't like it, you can pop it off, and this is different than from that. So again, mix and match. Maybe you like this one better. I think the red matches close enough, so you can throw that on there if you want. All right. Here's his pointing. All right, so he is pointing here. And then how well does this one come off? We're going to throw it on here. And now let's try and see if we can get him onto 1 foot, running away, pointing at the Joes. or pointing at his troops on where to go. All right, so sometimes these figures, they stand on one foot awesome. Other times, not so much. And, wow, this guy has a tight leg right here. There we go. Now there's a nice ratcheting system that they started using. I don't really remember when. All right. But if I want this guy running, I think I can get him into a running pose. Now, without being able to adjust the abs, it may be more of an issue. And I seem to be really struggling with getting this guy on one foot. There we go. So you can get him on one foot without a problem. If anyone wonders, hey, you know how long is he going to stay like that? Well, I'll show you quickly here. You see this guy? I've had him in the running pose since I did the review on Rock and Roll. So a few days. I have a Valkyrie that's been sitting in a running pose for, I don't know, a month and a half downstairs where people walk and the Roomba runs into it. So you can get these guys on one foot, not really without a problem. Again, this one is better than the other one. So, but there you go. Look, he finally fell over. But there you go. That is your Retro Viper review. I'm really excited to get this guy into some displays, do some stuff with him, mix him with Cobra Commander, walking around with his coffee mug. But anyway, I think you guys have spent enough time. I think you've seen everything. Compared him to the O-Ring, to the original Viper. Showed you what he looks like with some top fun retro toy weapons that you might want to get. I think it's time to wrap this up completely. All right, so there you go. That is your G.I. Joe Classified Retro Viper. This one is awesome. I'm so glad, and the reason why I wanted to know if they'd be willing to go back and redo sculpts rather than just repaints of figures they've done in the past, because they've done so many Vipers. Again, you look at, they did the Cobra Island Viper, then the 3-pack Viper that had a different tone along with the Officer. Then they did Python Patrol, they did Crimson. There's always the same mold, and it always had very weak legs. These ones don't. But you look at something like Marvel Legends, you look at Star Wars, Black Series, they'll redo the mold later on. You don't have to do it every single time. But this was time. Now, I really do wish that this was not an overlay. That was kind of my hope. But you're not going to get everything that you want. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and complain. It's called a review. You point out things you like and what you don't like, or you just point out things that someone might be interested in or they're wondering about. That's what a review is, people. It's not always complaining. Anyway, I think this figure looks awesome. After I'm done with this, actually I don't think that rifle looks bad. I really don't. I don't like the other one with the grenade launcher, but it comes with it, so I have to do a couple pictures with it. Then you're going to see a whole bunch of pictures with the actual Viper weapons. That's really what I'm looking forward to. But anyway, there you are. Are you going to get this one because you think maybe you didn't get the other one? Maybe you just hate it because you need something to be the exact same. Maybe you're like Johnny Reno and you needed 16 of them. I don't know. Or maybe you're like Woody 222 who probably ordered 50 or so. Tell me what you're going to do with it. Are you going to army build this? Are you already saying, and I've been saying this for quite some time, if you're buying just one of every Viper, you're already army building Vipers. They're just going to look a little different. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You spent a lot of time with me, and I definitely do appreciate it. So please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a link to the last classified I've done, which is the Retro Rock and Roll, and down here will be the playlist of all the classified figures I reviewed, which is every single one of them. Take care.